welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to continue working on my LS3 swap. As you saw in my last video, I assembled a new oil pan, but I didn't get to put it on the engine because I guess I got too excited and I forgot to buy the oil pan gasket. But no worries, I got it today. I went and bought it. I will be putting the new oil pan gasket on the oil pan and then putting the oil pan on the engine so that I am able to test fit it in my E46. I will be also trying out my mounts that I bought from CX Racing. But before I get started with my video, I want to give out my two shout outs, one for Instagram and one for YouTube. The Instagram shout out goes out to Third Coast Mechanic, 3RD Coast Mechanic. And for my YouTube shout out goes out to Mike A. But thanks so much for your comments. I appreciate every comment that I get. And without further ado, let's get started with the video. Ooh, the oil pan is finally installed. Just one last little touch here is the oil drain bolt. And I'm also looking into a different oil cooler setup. Y'all see that later, but for right now, we're going to install the mounts that I got from CX Racing and test fit it in the car. Here's the kit. These two go on the side of the engine, and these work as like the engine mounts. For example, I need to take off these still. So these go right there. And these go on the side of the engine, which this kit is made for the LS1, so I will have to see if I need to make any adjustments, but overall they should fit, so we're going to test it out. Also, this kit came with a transmission mount, which I don't have right here, but we're not worrying about the transmission right now. I'll show that whenever we do the transmission, but just know that it also comes with the transmission mount. So let's go ahead and get this on, or try to. So this engine mount goes on this side, and the fifth hole has to match up with this one. But I already see a problem. This right here is going to be in the way. All right, let's take this off. There we go. So I will need to find something to cover up this hole. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and put the mounting plates on, see how everything fits. Like I said, this engine's gonna come out of this engine bay a lot more times just to make sure that everything is fitted well. Anyway, let's just put this mounting plate on. By the way, this bolt that comes stock with the CX Racing seems a little bit too too flimsy, so we are going to change it, but for right now we don't have another option but to use this one. So this mounting kit did not come with any bolts to mount it on, so I am going to use the stock bolts. Since the original mounts are thicker and this one, as you can see, is thinner, these are not going to fit unless I put some washers on it, and the only washers that I have at the moment are these right here, and as you can see, these are bent, so I will have to find a different bolt or better washers so that I can do this properly. But for right now, I'm just doing this so we can see how these engine mounts work with the chassis. So this is as far as this bolt goes. As you can see, there's still a gap here, so I have to take all these back off and add more washers. So I do not have enough washers, so we're gonna improvise, and I'm gonna use this nut right here. Now we are on the other side. Obviously, the first thing that I see is that this heat shield is in the way, so I will remove it. Now this is where I have a problem. This is in the way, this is in the way, this is in the way. So the plan is I will take off the starter and then maybe even the AC compressor, but for right now I'm just going to take off the starter and then we'll go from there. This is supposed to line up with the second hole, and it's hitting the AC compressor. So I do have to take off the AC compressor. Got the mounts on the engine. Now time to take off the mounts that are on the subframe so that I'm able to mount the CX Racing ones. These were just finger tight from when I removed the engine. I will also have to remove the control arm nut because the mount sits on top of there. Here it is. I will have to change these bolts because as you can see, they're not wide enough. These bolts came with the set. The engine mounts are in. I tightened all the bolts. As you can see, there's still a lot of room for adjustability, so obviously it probably won't stay like this, but for now, I'm gonna try to test fit the engine. All right, let's just test fit the engine, see if this better work. Oh my god. It's sitting on something though. See it right there.
Yeah, that's clear.
No, it's sitting right here. And this, oh, it's a rubber piece. Never mind. There we go. Oil pan is good. Let's check out this other mount. Yeah, this one is definitely has a little bit of space right there. I can still see the metal pin. Finally got one in. Now on to the other side. And we got the second one in. It's officially in.
We need to measure the center of this bolt between these two frame rails and make sure the crankshaft's perfectly center. That way, the whole drive line will be perfectly centered.
But the oil pan is good.
Oh yeah, we got like just enough clearance. Like from here to here, just enough. Back here, we got plenty now. We got like 3 inches. AC compressor, we'll use a stock AC compressor. We'll probably notch this little mount. The plate, we'll notch it right here. So that way we could fit that AC compressor bolts back on. And then we're gonna notch the plate on that side as well so the starter can go back in. And yeah, we should be good.
And we also need to cut this section off right here because as you can see, it's blocking the header holes. Overall, it's in.
A few other things we're gonna do. We're gonna put a spacer between this mount and the subframe because I don't like how there's that gap right here. There's like probably, let's say about a centimeter gap between this mount on this side and the frame, the subframe, and the only thing that's preventing it from like, you know, tilting over are the control arm bolt or control arm ball joint and then that bolt all the way in the back. And I don't feel comfortable with that space, so we're gonna probably put some kind of spacer or something there, weld that onto the frame. Definitely changing all this stuff still, so that's out of the question. And we'll probably put some kind of rubber, like how the BMW has from factory. They have a rubber that goes to the back. You could probably see it right here. This piece of rubber.
That's what I felt.
Here, let's pull it off. It's broken anyways. So this piece of rubber, like if the engine flexes a little bit, it won't hit the subframe. So it's like a little dampener. We're gonna need that for this section right here, especially the mount for the steering rack. So we'll put some kind of rubber damper right there. That way, if the engine flexes at all, which the engine mounts are poly, so it probably won't.
It also looks like the hood has enough clearance to close, so that's good. And next up will be the transmission. So this concludes this video. It's super exciting that I got the engine in, that the oil pan fits, that the engine mounts are sort of working out. Like I said, we still need to make some adjustments, some notches on this side, as well as on this side for the headers. I still need to buy those, by the way. But the next video will be trying on the transmission with the CX Racing transmission mount, so stay tuned for that. And also make sure to check out the description box below for links to our merch and also for our vlog channel and his Shop Life TV channel where he makes E46 DIYs and all that fun stuff. Anyways, thanks for keeping up with my LS3 swap, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.